Here top of the morning. My name is Pamela Pacheco, and I'm honored, grateful, and humbled to be your host today. And I remember when I first started I started on my journey of entrepreneurship. I was looking forward to these type of calls, and I was looking forward to these type of calls not only for the information I was going to get, but the inspiration I was going to get. I understood that how I started my day was going to set the tone for my day, because garbage in is garbage out, and greatness in is greatness out. And it is absolutely of the essence that we set the tone for our day, for how it is that we want it to be, for the greatness that we want, for the fruit that we want to receive from the day ahead. So congrats to each and every single one of you that are on here today. Welcome again. Welcome to the call. So if you have been listening to today's audio, we have been talking about recycling your pain and pushing through the pain, and why I think that it is absolutely of the necessity to talk about this when we're talking about entrepreneurship, right? When we're talking about entrepreneurship, is because how many of you can agree that entrepreneurship can be painful sometimes? Can you agree? Can somebody tell me if you've been through some pain to get to the other side? Have you endured some type of pain on your journey on entrepreneurship? Yes, Miss Lisa said, I agree. And I tell you, and I'm just going to share with you guys, I always love to share quick stories with you. But yesterday I was on a coaching call with one of my clients, and we were talking about pushing through the pain. And she had made a reference to a post that I put on Instagram where I was working out. And I had just been on a 2-week vacation in the Dominican Republic. And even though I was working out on the roof, or working out on the beach, or working out in the sun, which is no fun, by the way, right? It does not compare to the training that I get from my personal trainer. If you have ever trained with a personal trainer, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It does not compare when you are working out by yourself, when you are pushing yourself, right? It does not compare to when somebody else is pushing you, to when somebody else does not care about your excuses, when somebody else does not care about the limits that you impose upon yourself. Can you agree? Absolutely. Well, that also relates to entrepreneurship. That also relates to mentorship. Why? Because a lot of times, right, we are with teammates, and we have to push through the pain of the nose. We have to push through the pain of the process, right? We hear all the time, they're like, fall in love with the process, fall in love with the journey. Why? Because you have to have a vision that is big enough. You have to have a why that is big enough, a why and a vision that will pull you when motivation sometimes can't push you. And the reason why we lose motivation is because sometimes it's painful, right? Sometimes it's painful for us to go through the nose, for us to go through the adversity. And I tell you, just like yesterday when I was resetting, right, or getting back in alignment with my assignment in the gym with my trainer, I was pushing myself beyond limits. I was struggling, right? And I usually don't post a lot of my ugly faces at the gym, but I had to, because I wanted to show that this is real life, right? And this is what we go through. And we have to grow through what it is that we go through, because a lot of us, when we are going through that pain, when we are enduring that pain, when we are enduring those tough times, we're only focused on that moment. We're only focused on what we're currently seeing, on what we're currently facing. But what's on the other side of that pain? Greatness. What is on the other side of that pain? Prosperity. What is on the other side of that pain? Growth. What is on the other side of that pain? Success. What is on the other side of that pain? Breakthroughs. Can you agree that you have experienced some type of pain in your life, whether that be in your wealth, whether that be in your health, whether that be in your family, whether that be in your fun? And we could talk about pushing through the pain and recycling that pain in every aspect of life. But here's what I do know. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is a choice, right? So we're going to go through the pain. You might as well make the best of it. You might as well let that pain push you to greatness, because a lot of times it's that one thing that we think is holding us back, that one thing that we think is stopping us, it's the actual thing that is fueling us. It's the actual thing that can push you beyond your wildest dreams, beyond your physical limits, beyond your mental limits, beyond your emotional level of maturity at that moment. And I say that to you because we endure it in every aspect of life, right? Have you ever rode a bike, right? Let's take you back to being kids. Have you ever rode a bike? Did you fall off a few times? Was it painful? Yes, right? But what was on the other side of that? You learned to ride a bike, right? You had to fall a few times. Maybe you had some training wheels, right? They didn't believe in that in my household. Oh, we definitely were just going to ride that bike until we fell and made sure that we got it done. But I'm saying this because no matter what level of pain that you're going through, no matter the level of adversity, it's what's on the other side of that. It is what is going, it's the benefits and it's the growth. And a lot of times your benefits may not be tangible, right? And it may not be something that you can necessarily touch, right? However, it is something that you can experience. You can see the benefits in the person you are becoming. And that's a lot like entrepreneurship. See, getting back into the rhythm of things, it's painful sometimes, okay? When you are doing your best to find your flow after vacation and you're like, I got to go crazy because I got to get on this leaderboard. Now I'm going to go hit 100 people. And it's like going for no, right? Go for 100 no's. Until you got 100 no's, you ain't doing nothing, right? That was one of the best practices that they recommended for us at our last training event at Playbook. And the reason being is because if you focus on only getting the yeses, when you get the no's, it's going to throw you off. Right? When you get the no's, it's going to hurt your feelings. When you get the no's, you're like, well, I wasn't prepared to get a no. I was prepared to get a yes. But if you're going for the no, right? If you're going for the no, you understand that it's just you going through the numbers. It's making the numbers your friend, is because what you lack in skills, you make up for in effort. So yes, it's painful. Yes, it's uncomfortable, right? To pick up this phone that sometimes weighs like 1,000 tons. Can you relate? But how many of us can agree that when you go through it, when you grow through what it is that you're going through, it's what's on the other side that matters most, right? It's the person you are becoming. It's the lessons that you're learning along the journey. And that is something that we can apply to in anything and everything in life. And I tell you that whether it's the physical limits that you are defying the odds, that you are pushing through the pain, whether you're working out and you're strengthening your muscles, how you look, how you feel, right? It's a lot better. Whether you are just uncomfortable and you're pushing through the pain of prospecting, right? Is it the most comfortable thing in the world for you to go out and meet people, for you to network if you're not somebody that's used to it? Probably not. Is it painful? Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is, but guess what happens? We get better. We get better. We get stronger, right? It's like you're building that muscle. You're building that prospecting muscle. You're building that rejection muscle, because I'll tell you, a lot of things, what knocks people out of this network marketing profession is not being able to withstand the pain, right? Not being able to withstand the no's, not being able to withstand the rejection. And a lot of times when you get rejected by your closest family and friends, you automatically get discouraged. If you are not thinking what's on the other side of that pain, if you have not strengthened your mindset, because we all know your mindset is where your mind sits, but what you focus on the longest becomes the strongest. So when you're prospecting and you're getting uncomfortable, or whether you're prospecting and you're making the calls, or whether you're showing people and you're getting no's, it's what's on the other side. It's the person that you're becoming along the process that matters the most. So as we are on this run, as we are pushing, as we are taking advantage of these BOGOs, as we are pushing towards Elevate, right, which is our next national event, the last weekend of April, I believe it's April 28th. Somebody can write that in the chat for me. But as you are persisting and persevering in the process, it's what's on the other side of that pain that matters most. See, even if you're having fun, right? How many of you guys have ever gone ziplining, right? Or got on a roller coaster or on a water slide, and you're like going up high. And if you're not an adrenaline junkie, and if you're not somebody that really likes heights, it's a little uncomfortable. It's a little uncomfortable, right? It's a little uncomfortable for me at times, right? But when you're there and you're like, oh man, you know what? I'm going to push through this pain. I've been here before. I know that what's on the other side of that, it's fun. What's on the other side of that is an experience. It's an adrenaline rush, right? It's having a memory to talk about. It's having an experience to share. It's having a story to tell. Well, we have to do our best to apply that to every aspect of our life, because whether it's our health, whether it's our experiences, whether it's our wealth, whether it's our business, whether it's our family, whether it's our faith, there is pain that you are going to have to push through. There is going to be a certain level of adversity that we must overcome, right? However, if you think that it's all going to be peaches and cream, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for you to get there, right? It's going to be a little bit more difficult for you to push through that moment and get to the other side, because we know what's on the other side. It's your breakthrough. It's your prize, but we're focusing on the price that we're paying. And it's like, are you going to focus on the price you're paying or on the prize? And I tell you this because, and I spoke about this very briefly on our Breakfast Club call with Queen Boss, Miss Kia Valentine, on Tuesday. And I shared this and I said, you know what? It's interesting to me because I was in the Dominican Republic, and in the Dominican Republic, everything is ran by military and politics. And if you know, you know, right? A lot of our countries outside of the United States are like that. And the difference is that in the Dominican Republic, if you are in the military, you cannot vote in politics like here in the United States. And often, if you are affiliated with any political party, it always has to be in the hush hush. Well, my mother was the first public speaker that I ever saw speaking. My mother is the reason why I fell in love with public speaking, that I am one of the greatest communicators because of her, because of the lessons that were instilled in me from when I was a kid. My mother was very, very heavy into politics. Well, a lot of my family was very heavy into military. Long story short, from retired generals, all right, all the way down to my mother working for the president in her early stages of her life before she moved to New York City as an attorney. I'm sharing this with you because I had to take care of something for my grandmother because she needed a certain level of security in our household, right? Well, my grandmother is 88 years old, and she was supposed to still have military guards that have been watching her house long after my uncle also transitioned, who was a general in the military. Well, with the change of government, right, they made some changes. Well, the beautiful thing is that my mother built such amazing relationships that I was immediately able to not only reach out to somebody that was in Miami, but his brother was the general that was the head of the Ministry of Defense in the Dominican Republic, and was able to grant me a meeting. And here I am in a country that I haven't lived in since I was 2, and I'm 36 years young. And I'm going to meet with this guy, and it's incredible because the power of pushing through the pain, right? Was it uncomfortable? And I look back at my mother's life and reflecting, and I'm like, it was definitely uncomfortable for her. She definitely pushed through a lot of the pain. She pushed through a lot of the pain, raising 3 kids by herself, pushed through a lot of the pain, having jobs upon jobs, and also running businesses and running her career, and still politicking, right? Still building up her political career as well, but also her influence, but the relationships she was building. See, she was a minority woman building these relationships in a man's world, pretty much, and pushing through the pain of adversity, of defying those odds, of a lot of men sometimes looking at her like, oh, she is too fine to be taught. And my mother would be quick to stop. If you think I have some type of character or some type of pit bull in me, until you met Benny, you know, okay? But I say this to say that she had to push through a lot of that pain. She had to persist and she had to persevere. Well, a lot of those fruits of that pain that she pushed through, we have been able to see today because of the solid relationships that she built, but her intentionality of building these mutually reciprocating beneficial relationships that not only her children are able to benefit from, her mother, her generations to come, when she's not even no longer physically here. So I share this to say that a lot of the times you might push through the pain and you may think that you're getting a prize, right, of that pain that you've pushed through. And not only is that going to be fruit that you're going to cash in that moment, but because you push through that pain, it is going to be able to provide fruit for generations to come that you won't even be able to physically see, but that somebody will be able to live better and do better, and the world will be a better place years from now, generations from now, because you push through the pain. Like, talk about legacy, talk about legendary, right? So we don't want to push through the pains of getting uncomfortable. We don't want to push through the pain of prospecting. We don't want to push through the pain of building those relationships, of getting uncomfortable so we can live your life comfortably. But have you ever stopped to think of who can you be hindering in the future? If your grandchildren will be able to benefit from the fruits of your labor, from the fruits of your effort. Does that make sense to anybody? So it's about you pushing through that pain until, I don't know what that until is going to look like for you. But what I do know is that it's worth it, because how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you have anything in your life that you're like, you know what, this is something that's painful right now. Well, remember that there have been something else that you've had to overcome, that you've got to the other side and have been able to benefit from it on an entirely different spectrum. What have you pushed through some pain that today you're thankful for, that you pushed through that pain? Has anybody ever been at that place in your life that you're just like, man, I'm happy I pushed through that. I'm happy I remember I didn't give up. I'm happy that in the process, I didn't focus on the problem. I didn't focus on the opinion. And let me tell you, opinions, everybody's going to have them. They're like holes. Everybody has one, right? However, your purpose is bigger than the opinion. Why? Because your purpose was already ordained before anybody had an opinion. So that means is that your pain has a purpose. What that means is that whatever it is that you're going through right now at this moment, and you think you've overcome it for such a time like this, think bigger. Think of the generations that you're going to be able to bless because of what you've endured right now, because of the person you are becoming, because of the people that you are going to bless. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this is beyond network marketing. This is beyond business. This is a bond beyond bank. And a lot of people play themselves, and it's like, you know what? I'm going to go and start this business, and I'm going to go and start that business, and I'm going to go and start this business. Do you know why I've been able to launch several businesses successfully? Because people know I finish things. People have seen the level of success, but a lot of times you want to go ahead and start 1,000 different things, but you haven't mastered one. So people look at you like you start stuff and you don't finish anything. So how can I have any level of respect for you? I got love for you, but when it comes to business, I'm not going to respect your hustle because I haven't seen you finish anything. I haven't seen you follow through because it got painful for you, because some people quit on you, because your entire upline left, because the person that you thought was going to be here forever is not, because the person that you let in, that you were running with, that you were building with, that you were going from living room to living room with, told you that we're going to do this with you forever, and they're no longer here. Hello, welcome to the real world. But have you been able to push through that pain? Because it's what's on the other side of that pain. See, I have built an immune system to the nonsense, right? So much so that it's like, bring it on. Nothing will stop me. Why? Because I know greater is he that is in me than he who is in this world. And I am in this world, but I'm not of this world. So I move a little different because I can't compete where I don't compare. You understand? So it's like when you know you're in alignment with your assignment, you're never going to follow man. You're always going to follow God. But you're going to follow him through and through because you know at the end of the day, that's what's allowing you to push through that pain. That's what's allowing you to persist and persevere. So ask yourself, when pain pushes up on you, do you push back on it? Do you bend your circumstances to your will, or do you let your circumstances bend you to its will? Because life is always going to be a fight for territory. And once you stop fighting for what you want, what you don't want will automatically take over. And that's not me, that's just law. But it's about you pushing through that pain. Because if you can't do one thing good, it translates into every area of your life. And you wonder why people will not follow you or necessarily know what it is, where you're going. It's because of that. And I'm going to tell you, it's tough. Yes, that's an understatement, but it's worth it because you're worth it. And your purpose is always going to be bigger than the pain. Your purpose is always going to be bigger than the problem. What's on the other side, it's always going to be bigger than the pain. The legacy, the impact, having that servant leadership mentality, having that abundance mindset, knowing that the only way through, ladies and gentlemen, is through. But what are you focusing on the longest? It's what's going to become the strongest. It's in that moment that the pain is pushing up on you. Are you pushing through the pain? Because you're like, you know what? I'm gonna recycle this pain. Because I remember I can tap in to other things that I've endured and I've got through. And I remember that if he got me through this, he's gonna get me through this. Woo! What's on the other side of that pain for you? Well, greatness is waiting there. What obstacles do you need to overcome right now to get to the other side? Write some things down that have been painful for you. And think of things that have been painful that you've been able to overcome. Remember that. Why am I telling you this? To remember that. Because it's with that same velocity, with that same heart, that you're going to be able to overcome this too. Because there's always another level, but I'm a very strong believer that if it wasn't for that pain, that purpose wasn't big enough. And it's in that pain that he produces something great within you, greater than you can imagine. It is in that process, it is in that perseverance that something is produced in you that no mind can fathom, that nobody can even imagine. But it's in that process of the pain. What does that look like for you? What are some things that you have to endure, that you have been saying, you know what, I'm going to put it off? No, the only way through is through. Do you think it's comfortable for me to get no's? No. Do you think I like getting no's? No. But I go through it. Why? Because I know that the only way through is through. I know what it looks like on the other side of that. See, I showed 4 people yesterday. 3 of them said no, 1 of them said yes. And you're like, people still tell you no? Yes. Even with an included trip? Yes. Common sense isn't so common. But here's what I do know, that no can turn into a yes. Why? Because that no is helping me get to my best, right? That no is not right now. Next opportunity, next one. That's all it does. It puts a battery on my back to say, okay, cool, you hit up 20, go hit up 100. Okay, cool, you showed 4, go show 40. Okay, your closing ratio is this, make it that. But you got to go through the numbers. You got to endure the pain. It's like nobody wants to talk about the process. No, you have to go through it. Yes, are you going to find a rhythm? Yes, but you got to go through the notes first. And it's like what we have our hands on, if you're not making it a priority, you're playing yourself. If you went to playbook and are not using the playbook, you're playing yourself. Pay yourself. Don't play yourself. Because what we have our hands on is special. There's nothing else like what we have our hands on. Like nothing. So I'm not saying don't have a life. No, don't get so busy making a living that you forget to have a life. I have a life. I just came back from a 2-week vacation in the Dominican Republic. Lit. Right? However, I understand that the reason that I'm able to do that is because I've made sacrifices for a season. The reason that I'm able to do that is because I've pushed through the pain. And it's like, it's a season. So it's like, you're going to cash in. There's going to be a season for you to cash in on all of the pain you've endured. But you got to go through that process. You've got to endure that pain. You have to go through the numbers. You have to do the prospecting. You have to do the legwork, because the only way through is through. And yes, it's going to be painful. Yes, you're going to lose some folks along the way. Who cares? Who cares? A lot of times you want to hold on to people. They weren't supposed to be a part of your journey. They were only supposed to be a part of your journey until this moment. And God has bigger and better for you. I know how it feels. Trust. But what I do know is that they were supposed to bless me until this moment in my entrepreneurship journey. But God has bigger and better in store. And he has other people that are in alignment with my assignment, and he had to get them away. Just like when I was on my trip, right, coming back here, of course, my luggage is a little bit overweight. And the flight attendant is like, it's 62 pounds, can only get 50. So what did I have to do? I had to take another bag, take some of that baggage out. Take some of that extra baggage out, because it could not go to get me to where I needed to go. That extra baggage could not come with me so that I can arrive to my destination safely. Where's extra baggage that you're trying to take with you that's not supposed to go with you, but you want to make it fit so bad? Sometimes you got to let it go. And sometimes when you don't want to let it go, God has an interesting way of just removing it for you, so that you can get to where he wants you to go, so that where you can grow to the person, into the person that he wants you to. Because a lot of times you're focused on the other person when he really wants you to focus on growing yourself. He wants you to be the leader. He wants you to step up. He wants you to be the face of your team. He wants you to be the face of your business. Maybe he wants you to be the face of secret. Because I tell you right now, the way that this is set up, this is free game. If you don't know what that means it is open territory. Market share is wide open everywhere. Everywhere. And what does that mean? That there's room enough for all of us to eat and some. There's about 40 of us on this call today, right? There's more than enough room for everybody to win and some, for you to become the next face of secret, for you to become the next leader that's on that stage, for you to become the next $1 million earner, for you to become the next person that's speaking on stages around the world, for you to become the person that they're talking about. But are you willing to push through the pain? Are you willing to go through the process? Because how you do anything is how you do everything. And if you can push through the pain, it's what's on the other side. It's the greatness. It's the purpose. It's the legacy. It's the impact. Above all, it's the person that you are becoming. Stronger, better, wiser, more successful. This has been your Breakfast Club call for Thursday, February 24th, 2022. Great day and God bless. Breakfast has been served. Thank you guys so much for joining on. Blessings on blessings. Hope we were able to add value to you guys. Much love and blessings to you guys always. Take care. Thank you guys so much.